Show me the money.
Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Kindred Souls of Brooklyn. And folks, it seems very hard to believe that one day in the very near future, this and change will be a thing of the past. It seems almost impossible for a baby boomer like myself. You know, when you think about all the movie quotes and all the importance that money has always placed in society, it's always going to place an important part of society. But the actual use of cash and change is going to be disappearing very, very shortly. On a recent trip that my wife and I made to Seattle, I realized this because Seattle is a very tech city. It's home of Amazon, it's home of Boeing, it's home of Microsoft, a lot of high-tech companies. Now, coming from Brooklyn, we're progressive, but the difference in the tech really amazed me. You know, and I also saw lots of homeless people in Seattle too. Beautiful, beautiful city, definitely the Emerald City. But I want to do a video now talking about how and why cash is disappearing in America. There's pretty much not much we can do about it, and why also I think personally that Brooklyn and the New York City area will be one of the last places that cash disappears. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. Say to yourself, maybe, how could this really happen? Would people allow this to happen? Well, it's actually happened many times. If you think back, us New Yorkers, back to, what was it, the early 90s or the late 80s, when they actually got rid of tokens in New York City in the subway system. Now, a lot of the older people didn't want to do it, but how did they make people do it, if you remember? They actually gave 3 or 4 free rides on the Metro card. They worked against the people's, you know, being on a fixed income or whatever. Because we used to sell Metro cards in our store, and they decided to put those free rides on there, and there were people coming in like crazy saying they're never going to do it, tokens are never going to go away. And once they put those 3 or 4 free rides on there, people had to do it. So there's ways that the government, and again, this is not going to be some Illuminati video about the government and this and that, but let's face it, there are advantages to cash not being used. So let's talk about that, and again, why I think Brooklyn's going to be one of the last to go down. Okay, now first off, let's face it, New York is a tech city, no question about it. But I don't think we consider ourselves tech. We consider ourselves maybe more high finance, maybe more tourism. But it's just an amazing city, as we all know. But again, this is not going to be some Illuminati thing, but, you know, it's funny. I have a lot of friends who actually carry an ATM card and walk around with actually no cash on them because basically they don't want to be passe. You know, the media can sometimes portray that, you know, if you walk around with money is old, and money is like using an 8-track tape. You know, you go to the bank and they kind of make you feel old. But let's face it, it is easier for the government to keep track of all these transactions. And, you know, for all of us people out there who are honest, you know, it's great because, you know, we're not going to be doing anything. You know, criminals are always going to find a way. I'm sure that people are using Venmo and PayPal, and they're using all these different means for ill-gotten gains because they're probably selling all kinds of things and saying it's for their birthday, or heaven knows what the heck they're doing out there. But I'm sure that this is what's going on. So there's never, ever going to be an end of crime. You know, another way things are happening is that they're saying, oh, it's the pandemic, and, you know, basically money is dirty, and if you touch money, it's on money. That's really a falsehood because while it can be transmitted from money, if you look at statistics, it'll show you that most people will get sick either in an airplane or they're going to get sick from a surface. If someone sneezes on a surface, germs stay alive on a surface of plastic, or just remember those ball pits back in the day in Burger King and McDonald's. That's why all of them are gone away, because on those plastic balls, the virus or illness would stay alive for weeks on end. That's why you don't see much of those ball pits no more. But, you know, in terms of the money itself, it's just something that's happening. And little by little, you know, you go around, you see. Now, I'm going to take you to a place today called Goodwill in Florida, where basically they round up. And you say, well, what's the point of rounding them? Now, they do it for charity. But one of the ways some countries are doing it is if you go in and you make a purchase, say it's $5.51, then they round it off to $6. If it's $6.49, they'll round it off to $6. Basically, under 50, over 50 kind of thing. And so what you're going to see is you're going to see change disappear first. A lot of places don't accept change. And believe me, you know, I'm nostalgic. I love history. I love all the artwork that's been done on money and change. And as a store owner, let me tell you, it was one heck of a pain in the neck on Valentine's Day or all the time having to go to the bank and getting rolls of quarters and dimes and nickels and pennies. Thank God we had a ride outside the store that collected quarters. We used to keep all the quarters. When the guy used to come and pick up the quarters, we'd buy the quarters from him. But so I know what it is to go to a bank and wait online for change and having to dole it out. It's messy. I mean, look at casinos now. Casinos have completely done away with money, and that's a great advantage because think about it. Back in the day when you went around a casino, if you were playing a nickel machine and you won $100, you had a bucket full of nickels walking around. And guess what? You couldn't play a quarter machine. You couldn't play a 50-cent machine or a dollar machine. You were stuck playing a nickel machine, so you wouldn't play it. But now you get that nice little coupon out. You could play any machine you want. So there's a lot of tactics that are going on with it. And, I don't think people are stupid, but it's just, this is where it's going. And I don't think we're really going to ever reverse it. But I do think that Brooklyn and New York are going to be one of the last places to fall when it comes to use of money, because we have a tremendous diversity in Brooklyn and New York City. And there's a lot of immigration here. It's a port city, but eventually it's going to happen. And there's probably no way of really, to say a year that it's going to happen is really hard to say. But the way things are elevating, I would probably think definitely within our lifetime, at least, but I would say change is going to disappear first, and then you're going to see money disappear. And, and as older people pass away, I mean, that's one of the reasons we sold our card store. We sold it to the guy, he made it into a supermarket, is that we saw trends going away. And as the older people passed away, I mean, think about it. What person under 30 years old today really buys a greeting card? And if they do, it's really got to be for a special occasion. So we saw where it was going. It was going that way for a long time, and that's why we ended up getting out. There was really no other choice. It was getting tougher and tougher to make ends meet. But this is where it's going, folks, and it's not a great thing. I mean, it's, there's a lot of things about money which kind of like, I don't know, they're enhancements in a way, but I guess they could be hindrances as well. And one of my points to this is that what do you do if you're a homeless person? I saw this in Seattle. What if you can't get a credit card? What if you can't get a vaccination or whatever? They were checking everything. You can't even get into a restaurant without that vaccination card. You can't, and without a credit card, you couldn't do anything. So what was the result? There was, even though there was some shelters there and Bill Gates was doing a decent job, whatever, having some shelters, the reality was Seattle is filled with homeless people. They said, I think there was 12 to 15,000 homeless people just in downtown Seattle alone. It was more homeless people that I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, having gone to college in New York City at John Jay and living in Brooklyn and going to, bowling on Bedford Avenue. And I've seen lots of parts of Brooklyn and in Florida too, but nothing like Seattle as far as a per capita situation was concerned. There is a certain culture about that. I mean, just like calling up for, a lot of people just look on the website and they'll call up a deli, and they don't call up a deli, they'll just order it, by what's on the menu. And for me, I always love calling the deli up and seeing what the special was that day. And, we had a guy in the neighborhood named Hercules, and he owns the diner, and I said, hey, what chicken do you have today? What soup do you have? It was always amazing, But what do you guys think? I mean, tell me what you guys think about tech. I mean, tell me what you think about money disappearing and whether you're in favor of it or not. Are you forced into it? Do you have to do it? Are you trying to hold on? Are you one of those people? I mean, there's a lot of things going the other direction. Newspapers are another thing. More and more you're seeing newspapers disappear. Day by day, there's less and less newspapers out there. I mean, so many different things that are changing out there. I mean, people are buying vinyl records now a little bit, but pretty much think of how much fun it was to go into a store and buy a vinyl record. It was just amazing. So tell me what you guys think. I'd be really interested to know that. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Goodwill, and I'm going to show you the store here where they actually round up money, and you'll be able to see, because that's where I think it's going, folks. That's where I think it's. I'm in Goodwill right now, and no musical instruments today, but I do like the support coming in here because they do a lot of good for the community. But anyway, expect to see more of these stores in the future once they get rid of cash, because I don't know what happens to the disenfranchised people out there. I mean, what do you do when you can't afford a credit card and as we talked about, and this is kind of where it's going. And then eventually what happens to those people is that, again, not that this is in any kind of Illuminati video, but what happens to those people? Is the big plan to get rid of, people like that and not have anything like that? To get rid of the middle class? I don't really know. But it just seems like that's what's happening. It's like, there's a lot of people living on the fringes, and you're going to see more and more of these stores, and cash going away is going to really help to hasten that even more, because these people aren't going to get credit cards, and it's going to be a different situation. So I don't know where it's going. I mean, tell me what you guys think, because there's a lot of examples out there in society and a lot of things that are happening with cash and coins disappearing. I remember a few years back they wanted to get rid of the penny, but people from Illinois stopped that because Lincoln's on the penny. Well, they said, well, why stop it? Because he's on the $5 bill too. Well, sooner or later it's going to go away, because coins, it's more expensive to produce a coin. I think it costs a penny and a half to produce a penny. So that's not going to go on forever. I put a list up right now of countries that are pretty close to going cashless. Sweden has always been the leading one. That's probably number one. But there's a lot of other ones up there. Some might actually surprise you. But it's going to happen. And it's not going to be a great day. And it's probably going to happen very subtly. And then you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be to the point where, you're going to have to probably turn in your cash or whatever if you have cash laying around. And, I guess that's part of it too. Don't forget that's how they got Al Capone, right? With tax evasion and stuff like that. So again, if you're honest, you have nothing to worry about, I guess. But it's just something strange about Big Brother, in a sense, watching everything that you're doing. I mean, this is the United States. It's all about freedom. And it's not about people doing something or not doing something. It's just a question of freedom. And so that's the question, folks, I'm going to pose to you. Does cash elimination give us more freedom or less freedom? Very debatable. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Al signing off. And do yourself a favor. Take care of yourselves. Holidays are coming up. Love you guys. And I'll see you soon on the next video. This is Al signing off. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye. So here in Sarasota in Bayfront Park on the Gulf. And as the sun sets on another day on planet Earth. And the sun is setting on cash as well, folks. So it was a good ride for cash, I think. It's going to be going away, and not much we could pretty much do. But I guess just enjoy the ride, and we'll see where it goes. And like I said, I think Brooklyn and New York and the whole surrounding area of New York City is going to be one of the last ones to hold on to the cash idea, because there's just way too many people, way too many diversities. There's a heck of a lot of people with pennies and jars over there. So they'll be one of the last ones, and who knows? Be interesting to see. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Love you all. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving coming up, and I'll see you real soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.